North Carolina First Alert Weather Day update.
First Alert Chief Meteorologist Kendra Kent here. We are monitoring for storms later tonight that could pack a punch with damaging wind, hail, even isolated tornadoes. We're actually watching one cell right now that has the possibility of producing some pretty significant hail. That's been the biggest concern with this one. So right now, this one is near Gaffney, basically just south of town, riding right along I-85, or just south of 85 up toward Blacksburg. So closer look at it, you can see we've got a lot of lightning strikes with it. This is the only thunderstorm in the upstate, but it's developed along a boundary ahead of this main line, ahead of the main event. And we've been monitoring the hail potential with it. Now, it's actually come down in the last couple of scans. Our hail size has gone down to much smaller, more like pea-sized hail with the storm, but could still be an issue if you're out on the roadways. And this is between Thickety and Draytonville in Cherokee County. We've also been monitoring the velocity with this, picking up about 52-mile-an-hour wind with it, where you're seeing some of those brighter colored greens there in this area in particular, and that's all going to be continuing to head toward Cherokee Falls and Blacksburg. So that's our cell, our one cell in fact, but we've got multiple storm cells out to the west that will be kind of conglomerating into a line as they get into the mountains later on tonight. A tornado watch is in effect for much of Tennessee up to about Knoxville until 11 p.m. this evening, and then that's when those storms will be getting a little bit closer to us. So let's go hour by hour and notice this model picking up some of that kind of prefrontal activity, just a few showers, but it's not a lot, and it's an indicator that the storms should weaken that we're seeing right now around the Gaffney area and push out before the main line gets here. So you can see 10 p.m. we've got some heavy rain pushing in. And then by around 11 o'clock, a lot of the heaviest downpours and the strongest wind getting into the mountains. It's during this time frame that we're going to have the best chance of a tornado developing generally in this area. That's where we're going to have the last gasp of energy and overlap with wind shear that could produce a tornado. So this is what we'll be watching closely into your late night and early morning hours over the next few. So let's take this on as it gets into the upstates. This is midnight sitting on the mountains. It will be a bit weaker as it gets into the upstate. That's one thing that we're not as confident about when it comes to the strength of these storms getting into the upstate. So we're going to continue to monitor these as they line up and continue to move in to our area. So just double checking, looks like we have another, that same severe thunderstorm warning continues for that Gaffney cell, and we'll continue to keep an eye on that one for you. But there's a look at the line as it's going to continue to move through 2 a.m. We've got the storm pretty much right on top of the 85 corridor, and then starts to move off toward the east. So south of 85, heavy downpours, but now at 2 a.m. a lot of this is going to be weakening. We're going to be running out of steam with this line. So 2 to 3 to 4 o'clock, we really shouldn't have a whole lot more in the way of severe weather. We get to 6 a.m., then we've got mostly clear skies. We'll be starting the day off on the dry side. When it comes to lightning overnight tonight, you will likely hear some rumbles of thunder. Notice those blue colors there. That indicates scattered lightning strikes, not highly electrical storms, but you will hear some thunder, and a lot of it's going to come, unfortunately, for the upstate by about 1 a.m. as you're seeing there. And here's 2, 3 a.m. as a cluster of lightning strikes moves through. But then by about 7 a.m., all of this is heading on out. So again, we've got the threats for damaging wind, heavy rain, as well as even isolated hail, which could be a big problem with some of those storms, especially as they enter into the mountains, and a low-end tornado risk. Real quick, let's hop back up to that Gaffney storm as we've gotten a little bit more, a couple sweeps of radar in here, but it's a storm that continues to hold on to intensity. A lot of lightning strikes here. And again, this is just to the south of Gaffney, between Goucher and Thickety, over toward Cherokee Falls, and then Abington as well. And then it's right here that we would be watching for any rotation within this thunderstorm. And at this point, we haven't seen anything tight or defined, and we're still not quite seeing that. But we are seeing a lot of bright greens like you're seeing here. I'll query one of these areas, just so you can kind of see the amount of wind coming out of the storm. 47-mile-an-hour winds as it's continuing to barrel through part of Cherokee County. Now, it has enough rotation within the storm, especially in the upper levels, to produce the larger hail. When you have that kind of rotation, it holds up the hailstone more efficiently. So let's check in on the hail parameters here. Which not terribly impressive at this point, which is a good thing because before, we can back this up just a little bit. See the blue color there? That was near Thickety. That was where we had quarter-sized hail. This has petered out a little bit, but it is still there, producing potentially at least some small hail. But this is not the main event. This is just one storm that has developed ahead of the line. So just as a reminder, we're going to have the most significant impact when it comes to this storm line as we get toward 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the upstate, and then exiting by about 4 to 5 a.m. We will continue to monitor that storm in Cherokee County, and if it does get any stronger, we start to get any damage reports, or of course, if there's enough rotation for a tornado, we will be back on the air with it and continue to bring you updates. And of course, it's a great time to download the Fox Carolina First Alert Weather app. Scan the code on your screen and get the app for free. That way, we can better serve you by sending you updates straight to your phone, let you know when those strong storms are getting close to your neighborhood. We're going to be here all night long tracking these storms and keeping you advised.